Good afternoon, class. So for today, we will be learning the training delivery modes and methods. In designing your training program, it is very important that you choose effective training delivery modes and methods. You should be able to choose training modes and methods appropriate for the content and skills to be trained in your competencies or qualifications. So, in Philippine Tibet, we are required to follow the competency-based training approach or CBT approach. To be able to employ this approach, the training regulations recommends training modalities. So, prior in deciding what training delivery modes and methods you are going to use in your competencies or your qualification, you need to base it on your training regulations, or you need to refer to the training regulations or the TR so that you can know what are the recommended modalities for your training. So these are the 5 training delivery modes recommended by TESDA. First one is dualized mode training delivery. So this program compromise both in-school and in-industry trainings or fieldwork components. So we will have 2 trainings. First is in-school or in the institution center or in the training center, and then we will visit some industry or another institutions. For example, you are enrolled in TM, so you need to visit another institutional training. And if you are enrolled with the NC2's qualifications, for example, bread and pastry production NC2, so we will visit some bakery so that we can know how the industry really works. So next is the modular or self-paced learning. This is a competency-based training modality where the trainee is allowed to progress at his own pace. So the trainer just facilitates the training delivery. So in here, as a trainer, we will just give instructions to our trainee, and for example, we will give them learning materials, specifically the information sheet. So we will let the learner or the trainee progress at his own pace. So as a trainer, we will just facilitate the learning. Next is the peer teaching or mentoring. So this is a training modality where fast learners are given the opportunity to assist the slow learners. So we really know that we have a diverse learners. So fast learners are given the opportunity to assist or to guide the slow learners. So that is what we call peer teaching. So they teach their peers. Next is the supervised industry training or on-the-job training. So this is a training approach designed to enhance the knowledge and skills of the trainee through actual experience in the workplace. So it also enables the trainee to acquire specific competencies prescribed in the training regulations. So this is new because, for example, in the TM, if you are enrolled in Trainers Methodology 1, so we or the TESDA add some days for your supervised industry training or aka on-the-job training. So students will be deployed in some institutional center or a training center so that they will really know what is or how does the industry or another institution really works. For example, I'm not sure if the bread and pastry or the other NC2s really adopt this supervised industry training program, but one thing that I am very sure of is that when you are enrolled to TM1, so you as a trainee will be deployed in another training center for the on-the-job training. So you are being monitored in this, so you are monitored by your trainer. So you will have your TRBs and other monitoring sheets for your industry training. Lastly, so distance learning. So I know this is familiar with you because you are experiencing this one now. So this is an online learning. So this is a formal education process in which majority of the instruction occurs when the students and instructors are not in the same place. Distance learning may employ correspondence study, audio, video, or computer technology. So during the pandemic, so the TESDA recommended this one. So the distance learning. So they implement this to have a full online training on their qualifications or the courses or programs that they are offering. So, and you are also experiencing this one. So we are using this online platform to have our formal education because we haven't yet approved to have a face-to-face this time. So we use this online education or online learning. So now we will be discussing about the 15 training delivery methods. So first up is that what is a training delivery method? So these consist of techniques and materials used by the trainers to structure or design learning experiences. So different training delivery methods may be better or worse at achieving various learning objectives. So we all know that we have a diverse learners, so not all methods are applicable to a certain learner or certain learners. So we must have various or many methods so that it can address or it can be appropriate to different kinds of learners. So during the design phase, the different training delivery methods are examined to determine their appropriateness for the learning objectives. So, when appropriate methods are identified, they are applied to the training plan in the development phase. So, prior in deciding what training delivery methods you are going to use in your training, so we need to identify first our learners. So, we need to know what kind of learners they are, what are their characteristics, so that we can really use an appropriate method or methods for their learning. So we will tackle now the different delivery methods. So first is the active lecture with questions and discussions. So I know this is very also familiar to you because you are experiencing this one too. So we have this lecture. So this is inside the four corners of the classroom wherein the trainer or the teacher is discussing, having a lecture, and also asking questions for you. So the group size should be no more than 30 people. So ideally, when having a lecture, you must have a maximum of 30 people. Okay, so next is the modular or self-paced method. So this requires a trainee to read and follow instructions on a competency-based learning materials and learns on his own pace. So in TESDA, modular or self-paced method is recommended. So according to the 10 principles of CBT, learner can progress at his own pace. So we will just give them modules, information sheet, and we will just, as a trainer, we will just instruct them on what they are going to do, and then we will collect we will give them a certain time. Then after that, we will collect it, then check their outputs, and then they can proceed to another module. If they will be done in the first module, then they can proceed to the next one. So the CBLM or the competency-based learning materials should be carefully crafted materials that can help the trainee learn both skill and knowledge. So this method requires the trainer to have a complete CBLM and other learning materials. So in here, we will just be providing them the learning materials. So the trainee is responsible to learn at his own pace, or to learn individually, or to learn independently. So next is debate. So I know they are also familiar with debate because in your high school, maybe you practice this debate. So they're used to examine alternative views and potential subject and to give practice and preparation and presentation of such views. So there is a pro and there is a cons on the certain topic. So you need to debate or you need to stand firm on what you are assigned to. If you are the pro, then you need to stand firm on the pro. And then if you are in a con, then you need to stand on the con of that subject or that topic that are assigned to. Next is group discussion. So the class will be divided into 6 to 10 members. So this uses active involvement of participants in the learning process. So this improves also your self-confidence and takes advantage of existing knowledge and experience of the group. So in here, you will be assigned a topic and then you will have your group discussion. So each member should give an idea of that certain topic. So that is what we call grouping activity or group activity. So that's it. I know that you already also experienced this group discussion. So fifth is the forum. When we say forum, so there will be speakers. So 2 or 3 or more speakers. Then you as a trainee, you will just listen on what will be the speaker is going to say. Then after that session or after the speaker delivers his or her message or having this discussing his idea, then you will also have the chance to ask questions to the certain speaker. So that is what a forum is. Next is buzz group. When we say buzz group, so each group consists of 3 or 4 members. So you will have also, it is somewhat the same with group discussion. However, this buzz group has lesser members, so it only has 3 to 4 members. So the same procedures, you will just have this discussion, giving ideas, like that. So next is the brainstorming. So I know you are also familiar with brainstorming. So it is like somewhat maybe groupings, or you will have a group, then you will give some ideas, discussing also, then this will also develop your creative thinking. So brainstorming developed your creative thinking, then you will have also be assigned a problem, then you need to solve it. So in order to solve that, you will have this brainstorming, giving some solutions about that certain problem. Okay, so all participants contribute their ideas on a subject or problem. So all ideas are recorded so that participants are urged to be open as possible. So you need to open up your ideas, share your ideas with the group so that you can solve a certain problem. Next is the case study. When you say case study, it provides participants with learning which may be directly applied to a similar situation in their work. So detailed information about a situation or event which illustrates a particular problem is necessary. The group addresses the problem in a way which they feel constructive. So this, however, needs careful preparation. A case may not be relevant to everyone. Participants and contributions vary. It is time-consuming and careful guidance and intervention may be required. So in here, you will really do a research about that certain case and how will you solve that, what are your recommendations for that. So the ideal group size for this is 3 to 6 members. Next is role playing. So it is the best known way to help participants both experience certain feelings and practice certain skills. So I know you are familiar with role playing. So you are assigned to a certain situation or a certain scenario, and then you are going to act that scenario. So in here, the participants enable to practice constructive methods of confrontation. Next is the field trip. So this allows participants to observe the operation of an activity or process on site and record their observation for later analysis. So you need to visit some field work, site work, or any site that is relevant to your qualification. So maybe you can visit bakeries and then observe what the bakery or what the operations in the bakery, and then record all your observations. And then later, if you will go home, then you will analyze your observations. Next is demonstration. So this is used to explain and demonstrate a process or skill so that each group member can understand and reproduce the action. So immediate practice is necessary part of this technique. Otherwise, the process or skill may be forgotten. So in demonstration, you as a trainer, you will demonstrate a specific skill so that your students will really see or will have this concrete example on how they are going to do, on what they are going to do. So after that, you will provide or you will give them a chance to practice that certain skill. So they will also demonstrate that skill so that they can have this retention. So or else the process or skill may be forgotten. Next one is the structured learning exercise. So exercises are used to simulate real-life situations or incidents in order to highlight interaction and group process or to focus on problem solving. So the purpose, structure, and operation of exercise are outlined by the trainer. So you as a trainer, you need to outline all the structure, the purpose, and the steps on the exercise. So roles of various participants are described and allocated to various people. So observers may be appointed, recording of the activity is vital, and the trainer usually does not intervene during operation. So review and evaluation form a critical part of the learning process. Next is the practice. So practice, as what I have said earlier, so this is the time that you will give the learners an opportunity to demonstrate their skill. In order for that, they can master this skill. So they will have this real life situation. So for example, do you want them to bake a chiffon cake? So before they can bake a perfect chiffon cake, so they will need to practice that skill or that baking process. So you give time to them to practice that one until mastery will be achieved. Next is public speaking. So this is really not applicable, but maybe some of the qualifications must have this public speaking, maybe in events, but mostly in like bread and pastry, cookery, caregiving. So this is not much applicable for that, but we will tackle also this one. So when we say public speaking, there is a speaker on that, one speaker, and then the participants will just listen to what the speaker is talking about. So this does not make it an easy skill to perform. Besides, different people have different ways to communicate. So the bottom line is that if a person feels confident when addressing a crowd, he or she usually communicates more effectively. So thus, confidence is very important in doing public speaking. Next is, or the last one is the study circle. So when a group of workers decide that they want to study or learn from each other's experiences, so they form a study circle. So the group can meet in private homes, in the workplace, or in any private function so that they can discuss or have study review on a certain topic. So in study circle, brainstorming can also be applied in this setup. So the circle assigns study circle leader who is responsible for minutes and organizing of the meeting. So this is also applicable to you students or the trainees. So sometimes they have the study circle. They will discuss different things or different topics which they find it difficult for them. So the group will discuss it and then have a clarification for that, do our research also. So that is what a study circle is all about. So these are the 15 training delivery methods: active lecture, modular self-paced method, debate, group discussion, forum, buzz group, brainstorming, case study, role-playing, field trip, demonstration, structured learning exercise or SLE, practice, public speaking, and study circle. So as what I have said earlier, that in deciding what you are going to use or what method you are going to use, you need to first identify the learner, so what type of learner they are, and their characteristics as a learner. So this is really very important so that you can know or decide what appropriate method you are going to use in your training with these types of learners. I hope you have learned something in our discussion today, and just be familiar with the 15 training delivery methods. So because we will be using this for your CBC and session plan making. So that's all for today, and God bless everyone and have a good day.